Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. We'll get started here in just a couple minutes as we let a few people join the webinar. We'll be starting right on time at the top of the hour, so glad to have you here. Now, while we're waiting, maybe pull up the chat window. I've got the chat window up here, and we can ask any questions as we're going through the discussion. And while we're getting ready, maybe let me know where you're calling in from and what type of projects you're working on. So I'm located here in central Canada. It's nice and sunny here today. We're just getting to the end of winter and very excited to start enjoying our very short summer. Good morning, Zach. Glad to have you here. Okay, let me share my screen here so we can get started right on time. So you should be able to see my screen. And we'll get started here very shortly. Grab a coffee and settle in. I don't know if anybody saw the eclipse on Monday. We were in Eastern Canada and we saw it. It was absolutely spectacular. If you've never seen a total solar eclipse, definitely worth checking out because it's pretty amazing. All right, so we're right at the top of the hour. Let's get started. So today's discussion is on best practices for capital project commissioning using top-rated commissioning software and industry best workflows and templates for your work. So you're about to get the industry best approach to completing capital projects during commissioning. And this discussion is meant to be interactive. So if you haven't already, please pull up the chat window. If you have any questions as we're going through the material, shoot your question into the chat and I'll make sure I get it answered. We'll also have a Q&A at the end of the presentation where you can ask any additional questions about commissioning that you have as well. Now, I've used this approach to commissioning that we're going to discuss today on several projects. I started out applying these advanced commissioning principles in the aerospace industry. I was building satellites and rockets for the Canadian space industry. Super interesting. I then used the same approach to commissioning in the power industry, working on hydroelectric generation projects in northern Manitoba here, as well as HVDC transmission projects in Manitoba here as well, working on multi-billion-dollar projects. I've also worked in the wastewater treatment plant industry where we were expanding and upgrading wastewater treatment plant facilities not too far away from here. I'm also on the organizing committee for the Commissioning Professional Society, where we host an annual event in Houston and have some of the best and brightest minds of commissioning all gathered together for a day. And we discuss the challenges that the industry is facing, as well as how to elevate the importance of commissioning on projects. It's a really good event. You should check it out. At Commissioning Expert Solutions, we help project teams implement the systems and processes that are required to complete capital project commissioning as efficiently as possible using standardized processes and commissioning software that is the top-rated software that's available on the market. And I'm going to show you how to apply these industry best practices to your projects here today. We've helped over 200 people with commissioning on their projects. For example, Sheldon or Jonald or Kale and many others, after working with us, they all tell me the same, that this was an eye-opener. They had no idea what they were missing on their projects. They all tell me that this was the first commissioning process that they found that fully matches with what really happens at site. And that's because it is. This isn't theoretical stuff. This is real-world practical experience on how to complete capital project commissioning. They all tell me that they were having not much success filling positions on their projects, looking for the experienced commissioning people that they were finding. And now they have a steady pipeline of people that are ready to join their commissioning teams and build their projects. And you can go to our site at commissioningandstartup.com. At the top in the menu, click on success stories, and you can see all the other people that we've worked with and helped with commissioning on their projects. So everyone's saying that these methods are great. They're helping a lot of people complete projects, and they can definitely help you complete your projects too. So just to be clear though, this is not technical commissioning. If you're looking for how to commission a 230 kV switch shard, or if you're here looking for specific flushing standards for food grade piping, Or if you want to learn how to do detailed technical testing, such as how to perform a high pot test, you're not going to get any of that here. That's not what this presentation is about. But technical commissioning is not typically what's missing on projects, though, is it? There's a lot of smart people working on projects, and they'll get the testing completed one way or the other. What's often missing on projects is the structure that's supposed to go around the technical commissioning. What's missing are the commissioning systems and processes in advance of on-site testing to ensure your technical commissioning experts have what they need so that testing can go much smoother. So this presentation is for project managers and commissioning managers that need to understand how to create and implement an industry best commissioning process, for engineers and technicians that want to understand how to follow and execute industry best practices for commissioning, and really for anyone that needs to understand industry best practices to complete capital projects. And this presentation is for project owners and developers that want to set their projects up for the best chance of success during commissioning. So we know there are three fundamental aspects that are required for project commissioning, right? We need people, we need processes, and we need tools. And this is not new. You already know this. Projects have always required people, processes, and tools to get the job done efficiently. And if you're missing even just one of these, or one of them is not working well, then commissioning will always be a problem for you on projects. We need the right tools to get the job done, right? You could try to dig a ditch with a shovel, and sure, you'll get the job done eventually, but it's going to take a lot longer when you know you could have used a backhoe instead, right? You can try to complete commissioning without following any processes, but you'll get poor quality in the end. And you can try to complete projects without people, but I haven't seen that work. Artificial intelligence isn't replacing people anytime soon on projects. So it's fundamental to have all three of these things on projects: people, processes, and tools, if you want to successfully complete commissioning. When you have people and processes, but you're still using the wrong software, or maybe you're still using spreadsheets, then you're relying entirely on your people to implement a process. And with no tool to manage commissioning, then you will always get variability in the success of your projects based on how well all groups understand commissioning. When you have people and tools, but no process defined in software, then there's no clarity on what's required for commissioning. And when everyone has a different idea of what's required at the end of projects, it's super hard to complete projects when everyone's going in different directions. And when you have processes and tools, but no people to do the work well, as you know, it's pretty difficult to make progress. I haven't found a way to complete projects without the right people to do the work. And a trap that a lot of people fall into is thinking that spreadsheets are a process for commissioning. It's not really anyone's fault for thinking this, right? Excel is on our computers and everyone is comfortable with using it, and it's pretty easy to default with what people know. And Excel might be a good tool for creating a list of things to do, but it's terrible at managing a process on projects. And without a tool to help manage commissioning, then you're putting all of this on people to manage, which will always give inconsistent results depending on people's understanding of commissioning, right? So let's look at a simple org chart. The three main project functions, of course, are: we need to get it designed, we need to get it installed during construction, and we need to complete testing at the end as part of our commissioning process. Or if design and construction are part of the same group and you have an EPC contract, this still all applies as well. There's typically someone to manage the design, and they're following design best practices. And there's always someone to manage construction. There's an entire industry dedicated to construction project management. But where are the systems and processes for commissioning? On a lot of projects, they only exist as spreadsheets or don't even exist at all. And commissioning becomes a scramble to complete at the end because there was no organized approach to get what you needed from earlier groups so that commissioning can go smoothly. When the last part of projects, the most complex part, when everything has to start working together as one system, has no standardized systems and processes to make sure everything is complete, commissioning can be a nightmare at the end. There is a gap in the industry, and Commissioning often gets overlooked while groups are focused on design and construction. And it's no wonder projects are late and over budget when projects have no standardized method to complete commissioning, and spreadsheets just don't cut it anymore. Projects are just far too complex. And we're working with lots of different groups on projects that all have varying levels of understanding of what commissioning is really all about. This is the gap that we help you fill by helping everyone on projects understand commissioning so we can all work together and collaborate together and all contribute to the success of projects during commissioning. Without a structured process to complete commissioning that starts early in projects, project teams are just gambling. There's no way to get consistent results from projects. And as long as you're relying on people to manually track commissioning in spreadsheets, your outcome will vary every time. With no standardized way to complete projects, it's really just the Wild West. All you can do is roll the dice and see what you get at the end. And I'm sure you've had this experience on projects when some projects go really well during commissioning and others are much more difficult to complete because there was no process established for commissioning earlier in projects. I want to share some statistics with you that are quite concerning. This is Professor Bent Flivberg. He's from the University of Oxford, and he's compiled a database of over 16,000 projects over the last several decades. He's also written a book. It's called How Big Things Get Done. And if you haven't read it, it's an excellent book. You should check it out. Professor Flivberg's research shows that only 8.5% of projects are on time and on budget. That means 9 out of 10 projects are late and over budget. That's terrible. That's not very good at all. The complexity of completing construction and commissioning is one of the main contributing factors to delays when there is no consistent approach to commissioning. And a lot of projects ignore commissioning until it's too late. They're missing important aspects in contracts, or they're missing details in their paper and spreadsheet processes, and leaving everything to the end for the poor commissioning guys to sort out at the end, right? When it's much more expensive to fix issues at the end of projects. So today I'm going to show you what successful projects are doing to beat these odds and get success with commissioning. Let's address the problems of what not to do for commissioning before we talk about what to do. We know that projects are having problems. We know this because the data tells us this, right? That 9 out of 10 projects are late and over budget. Projects are struggling to find skilled labor for commissioning and ignoring commissioning until it's too late. So losing time during commissioning and missing their in-service dates because of that. But why is this? Why are projects struggling to complete commissioning? We need to address these problems before I show you what to do. And there's 2 common mistakes that are typically made on projects. And just by fixing these 2 mistakes, projects can see huge improvements. So what are these 2 mistakes? The first mistake is leaving commissioning to the end of projects. We've been told for decades that commissioning takes place at the end of projects, right? We need to finish construction and then we're going to test everything at the end. But this is actually not true. This, of course, is what a lot of projects do. They start to think about commissioning maybe only a few months before on-site testing starts, but this is what leads to problems on projects. In fact, to be successful, your commissioning processes need to start early in your projects during your feed processes once equipment tag lists are available from design groups. Your project WBS rarely aligns with your commissioning and startup sequence, and you need to realign your project with a systems-based approach earlier in your projects before the damage is done and can't be repaired. If you don't get this right earlier in your projects, then it's pretty tough to fix later. And as you know, it's a lot more expensive to fix mistakes at the end of projects than to get things set up properly right from the start. It's exactly like Stephen Covey says in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. His habit number 2 is begin with the end in mind. And this is how capital projects must begin, with the end of your project during commissioning in mind right at the beginning of your project. All project groups must have a clear vision of what success looks like during commissioning, starting right at the beginning of projects. And the only way to do that is by defining all your commissioning processes early in projects in a way for all people to easily understand, regardless of their understanding of commissioning. There's just no way to successfully complete complex projects unless all groups start with the end in mind. And it's like that for everything. Projects are no different. You wouldn't go on a road trip without first determining where you're going to go? Of course not. You're going to figure out all the details of your destination, how you're going to get there, where you're going to stay when you get there, all of this before you jump in the car. Your commissioning systems and processes must be established early in projects so that everyone knows the details of where the project is going and how their role contributes to the success during commissioning. Mistake number two, a lot of projects are still using paper and spreadsheets to manage commissioning. And in today's information age, spreadsheets just don't cut it. While this used to work 20 years ago, and a lot of projects are still doing this because it's the way it's always been done, but projects are just far too complex now. There's just too many documents and too much information, and it's impossible to keep track of manually in Excel, and not possible to onboard new people to your commissioning team when you don't have a standardized method to complete projects. And besides, maybe you understand what's being tracked in spreadsheets and they help you complete commissioning, but others on your project certainly don't understand what's in your spreadsheets, and new people to your team can't easily understand the processes for commissioning that you're following. And if you ask anyone else on your project, they all have a different understanding of what's required for commissioning. Spreadsheets may be fine as creating a list of things to do, but they're not suitable as a tool to manage a process. And when others don't have a clear understanding of the process to follow to complete projects, then there's a pretty low probability that you get what you want at the end of your project for commissioning. Project moves pretty fast too, so manual tracking in spreadsheets just can't keep up with the data that we need to manage on a daily basis. During on-site testing, we need real-time data to make informed decisions, and we can't wait until Friday's spreadsheet is updated to get the info that we need. We need access to information now. And the only way to do that is with software systems that give you that information. Successful project teams are no longer using paper and spreadsheets, and I'll show you what they're using. When projects don't have well-defined commissioning processes that are defined in software and used to manage the process on a day-to-day basis, then there's no way to show everyone how to get to the end. We need more collaboration on projects for commissioning so project teams can work together and solve problems together. But when only a few people understand what's in your spreadsheets for commissioning, then it's pretty tough to collaborate. And when new people join your commissioning team, there's no easy way for them to learn your process other than trial and error on the fly, which is what a lot of projects do, right? Spreadsheets for commissioning are not a great tool for collaboration and not useful for onboarding new team members. When everyone has a different understanding of what's required for commissioning, it's super difficult to complete projects when everyone's going in different directions. And with no clear view of commissioning, project teams spend more time talking about the work rather than actually getting the work done. We don't need more meetings. We need a better way to organize our teams so we can complete projects more efficiently during commissioning and collaborate better during all phases of projects. When project teams make one or more of these two mistakes when they're leaving commissioning to the end, or they're still using outdated tools for commissioning, we call this cowboy commissioning. Cowboy commissioning results in inconsistent completions, missed deadlines, and delays during commissioning that are very expensive to fix at the end. Cowboy commissioning is certainly not attracting new people to the industry. In fact, it's driving a lot of people away, and it's impossible to onboard new people to your team when you have no consistent method for them to follow. Throwing them out in the field for them to learn on the fly is not a strategy to grow and expand your team. So let me know in the chat, is this making sense? What's been your experience on projects? Have your projects generally gone pretty well? Are you more accustomed to the cowboy commissioning methods to complete projects? Let me know if you can in the chat, some of your comments on what your experiences have been. So these are the two most common mistakes on projects, and these are the two main reasons for problems during commissioning. If you fix just these two things by replacing spreadsheets and by getting commissioning processes established earlier in your projects, you will make huge improvements on your projects to complete commissioning as efficiently as possible and have a much better strategy to get the people, processes, and tools you need for commissioning. Imagine you're going to a movie theater and enjoying a movie, and you have to go to the washroom. There's always enough light from the ceiling lights and the screen so that you're able to get up from your seat. You can navigate your way to the aisle without disturbing others, walk down the stairs to the ground floor. circle around, and go out the ramp leading to the door. But now imagine that when you return from the washroom, the theater staff have shut off all the lights and it's pitch black. Could you find your way back to your seats without tripping? Could you walk down the aisle without falling on your face? Could you find your seat without tripping over others? Even though there are many obstacles, those lights in the theater allow you to see where you're going to make the path clear. However, the darkness makes the path impossible to navigate. And when you're not implementing systems and processes for commissioning, everyone on your project is in the darkness, and the path to the end of your project is impossible to navigate. The people in the front row that are part of the commissioning team, they understand how to get to the end, but that's hardly fair to everyone else in the theater. They need to see the path to the end as well. When you have no systems and processes for commissioning on projects, or you're using spreadsheets for commissioning, everyone on projects other than the front row of commissioning is in the dark and has no idea how to finish projects during commissioning. And it's pretty difficult to work and collaborate as a project team to meet cost and schedule objectives when only a few people on your project know how to finish them. And I think you can agree, finishing projects is an important part of capital projects. We must be giving visibility and clarity to all groups on projects, starting early in projects, on what's required for commissioning so everyone can work together, solve problems together, and collaborate together to successfully complete projects during commissioning. And top-rated software with industry-leading commissioning processes are the only way to do that, to show everyone what's required for commissioning without them having to feel their way around in the dark or without them having to be an expert at commissioning. Okay, so first, let's look at the software systems to use that replace spreadsheets. There's actually over 25 different software platforms that are available that you can choose from, and there's several good options that you can choose. Now, we don't make software. None of the items listed on this list are ours. We haven't created any of these. Instead, what we've done is we've compiled the list of all the options that are currently available on the market, and we've taken a look at several of these to know which ones are the best to use for particular industries. So what I'll do is I'll send you a copy of this list after the presentation so you can review it more closely. And once you've had a chance to review, then we can discuss which one might be a good fit for your projects. So what do these software systems allow you to do? The first thing is they allow you to standardize your commissioning processes. When you're using spreadsheets and different people are managing commissioning, then it's random each time, and each person will always have a different way that they manage commissioning, and each project, of course, will always have a variable outcome when you follow this approach. However, when you implement software, you're able to standardize your commissioning workflows, and you're able to use the same checklists across multiple projects. Your team can move from project to project and expect the same methods to complete each time. It's just the most efficient way to manage resources on your projects when you've standardized your processes. You're able to standardize your workflows. You're able to get much better consistency from projects because the reality is we work with a lot of different groups on projects, and we need a consistent way to get what's required for commissioning, even though each group has a different understanding of commissioning. The only way to get consistency is with standardized processes managed right in your software. Our old and wise commissioning experts, they are going to retire us. A lot of them don't seem like they want to. They work well into their 70s, but they will retire at some point. And it's often the case that how you do commissioning resides within the expertise of one or two of these people. And when they retire, your commissioning processes will leave with them as well. The way to transfer this expertise to younger generations is to build out these workflows within a software system so that you have the checklist to use and the steps to follow and what needs to be defined in software so that others can easily understand your commissioning processes to follow. Your spreadsheet tracking list just can't do this, and writing a document also isn't going to help you as well because nobody reads those documents, and even if they do, they don't understand them. They're not effective because they're not being applied practically in the field. Your workflows defined in software are much easier for people to follow on a daily basis rather than trying to interpret a document. And another reason to have standardized commissioning processes is it's much easier to onboard new team members to your commissioning team. As you know, People with commissioning experience are getting pretty hard to find and harder to find each day. And since there's just so much work to complete on projects, it's extremely competitive to attract the skilled labor that you need on projects. However, there are people with strong technical backgrounds that are already working on projects and can apply their technical expertise to commissioning. They just need to understand the commissioning process. When you have standardized your commissioning processes, it's much easier to onboard these new team members to how you do commissioning on your particular projects. But when you have no standardized processes, it's difficult or impractical to bring new people to your team because it can take them years to understand your commissioning processes, and project teams are less likely to hire them because they've left commissioning too late and they need results now, right? So there's lots of advantages to getting these software systems set up in your projects, and project teams need to be using these systems if they want to complete commissioning as efficiently as possible. Now, these software systems are all cloud-based platforms, and something I often hear is that your IT department will just never allow it, right? The software needs to be part of your IT network. When you get the right system, though, these are all built on the most secure data networks in the world. The big data companies like Amazon and Google that host our large server networks all over the world, they have teams of thousands of people implementing the most advanced security technology available, and they have much more secure systems than your IT department of 4 people can put together. So the security of these systems is really not an issue. If you get the right ones selected, then these systems are all very secure and your data is safe. One thing to note, though, is software is certainly a big part of the equation to finish projects. It's just not the biggest piece. Completing projects during commissioning is not fundamentally about software. Software is a tool that's used to complete projects, right? What determines your success with these software systems is how you apply your project's specific circumstances within them. We see a lot of project teams using their software incorrectly, and I don't want you to fall into this trap, which is why we help project teams get these systems set up correctly so they can get the best value from them and actually use them to help complete their projects. So like I said, I'll send you a copy of this list after the presentation and you can review it in a bit more detail. Okay, now let's look at the commissioning processes that are implemented within your software. And you may be familiar with a lot of these, so I'm not going to go through them in a whole lot of detail. Again, I'll send you a copy of this flowchart after the presentation, and you can have a closer look. You can see if there's any workflows that you're not familiar with, or to make sure you're not missing anything in your current commissioning workflows. The software we just discussed is what is used to model these commissioning workflows specific to how you do commissioning on your projects. And if you're just using your software, if you do have current commissioning software and you're only using it as a tracking tool, then you're not really getting much value from it. And you probably should be investigating a new platform, a new system that can actually help you manage your commissioning workflows and the commissioning workflows that are on the screen. When you model these workflows properly in your software, your commissioning software becomes much more than a tracking tool. It becomes your work management tool. It's really project management software to guide everyone through each stage of your gated commissioning workflows, regardless of their level of understanding of commissioning. You and your team are able to have full visibility and clarity at each stage of commissioning, so everyone knows what the next step is, and so that nothing gets missed. So I'll send you a copy of this flowchart after this presentation. You can review it a bit further and make sure that you're not missing anything in your processes. There are lots of pieces to the commissioning puzzle on projects, and spreadsheets just can't manage this level of detail. And it's not reasonable to ask your people to manage a process by brute force when you're working on such large projects with large project teams and so much information. So if you're still using spreadsheets or you're using the wrong software and still relying on brute force, it means one of two things. It means either you're doing all of this by brute force and trying to manually manage your commissioning workflows and relying entirely on your people to implement your commissioning processes, or it means you're missing some or all of these workflows on projects, and neither situation is good. Not good for you and your project team because you're burning out a lot of good people by relying on brute force to manage your commissioning workflows, and not good for your projects because you're leaving all your project risk to the end, which inevitably causes delays during commissioning, and it's a lot more expensive to fix issues. Another challenge on projects is finding the skilled people that you need. I'm sure you're well aware of the huge volume of work on projects and the labor shortages that we're facing. It's getting harder and harder to find experienced commissioning people. The good guys are already busy working on projects and they're not responding to your job postings. There's just an unprecedented amount of work to complete on projects for all of the electrification projects that are taking place, the decarbonization projects. There's just many climate change initiatives that we're undertaking that capital projects play a large role in addressing. And there's not nearly enough skilled people that understand commissioning to actually get the work done. On top of this, our old and wise commissioning experts, they are retiring. And when they do, they're taking all of their knowledge and expertise with them, which means you can't rely on one or two people to implement your commissioning processes like you have in the past. You need to capture this knowledge in systems and processes before it disappears, before it walks out the door. If we allow these skill sets to leave the industry without having systems to guide others on the process, it's going to be pretty difficult to build these skill sets back up. It's just getting so difficult to attract the skilled labor that you need using old methods for commissioning. The younger generation, they're joining projects with their phone in their hand and they're expecting technology to make their jobs easier. There's lots of project work out there and they've got lots of options to choose from. So if they're being stuck with your old spreadsheet methods, they're just going to walk down the street and go find another more progressive project to work on. So if you want to grow and expand and take on more projects while competing for skilled labor, new and modern processes to complete commissioning give you such a huge advantage over the next guy. And once you have a consistent method to complete projects with standardized systems and processes, then onboarding new team members becomes much more efficient. So today we've discussed the three fundamental aspects of capital project commissioning. We've discussed the top-rated commissioning software that you should be using. We've discussed the industry best commissioning processes that need to be modeled within your software. And we've discussed how to implement an onboarding program to get the skilled resources you need on projects. So what are the next steps? What are you going to do on Monday to start implementing this? Now, let me ask you something. If you had two options, option one being you take everything you've learned and the lists I'm going to send you today and try to do it yourself, versus option number two, you have someone to hold you by the hand and help you get this stuff sorted out on your projects, that's completed commissioning many times before and that's helped other people and projects successfully complete commissioning. Which one would you choose? Well, if option two sounds like a good option, then I have some good news for you. We've got a solution to help you with commissioning for project managers and commissioning managers that need to create and implement industry-leading commissioning processes for their team, for engineers and techs that need to understand the stages of commissioning, what takes place during each stage, and how to apply their technical skills to commissioning, and for everyone on projects to finally understand what commissioning is really all about. If you've got well-defined processes and software tools to manage commissioning, but you need more people to join your commissioning team, well, we've got a solution to onboard skilled commissioning resources to your project team. If you're happy with your software and you've got great people, but you're not getting the results you want during commissioning, we've got a solution to standardize your processes. If you've got great people and commissioning processes that work well, but you need a better system to manage your processes, we've got a solution to help you get the top-rated commissioning software for your projects. Or maybe you're just starting out and you've got a new project or a new department that you're setting up. We've got a solution to set you up with all three: the people, the processes, and the tools that you need so that you're ready for commissioning success. We understand the challenges with commissioning, and commissioning doesn't have to feel so daunting when you get access to our support to get some of this stuff started out. So The first option for support is our Commissioning Academy training program, and we offer 2 levels of support. We have a program designed specifically for project managers and commissioning managers that want to understand how to create and implement an industry-leading commissioning process for their team. This is perfect for project leaders that want to make sure they're following the commissioning best practices to give their projects the best chance of success. We also have a program designed specifically for engineers and technicians that want to understand how to follow and execute industry best commissioning processes. And this is perfect for people executing commissioning that want to understand the process to follow and how to apply their technical skills to commissioning. Both of these options are tailored exactly for each of these project specific roles, so people have a clear understanding of how their role applies to the success of commissioning. When you join our Commissioning Academy training program, you get all the industry best workflows to follow. You get all the checklist templates that you need. You get access to our mechanical, electrical, and automation commissioning modules so you can see and understand how all disciplines come together as one plant process. Plus, you get access to our private members group, an accredited certificate when you pass the exam, and lifetime access so you can refer to the material on future projects. It's not reasonable to be thrown out into the field and expect to figure this stuff out all on your own. A better approach is to come equipped with the skills and tools you need for commissioning so you can start contributing to projects much faster. This is a great way to understand the commissioning process fast rather than having to learn on the fly over several years. And we've got pricing options starting as low as $367. So this is affordable for everyone to get the knowledge you need to succeed with projects. When you submit your application, you'll get all the pricing details so you can decide if you'd like to be part of the success on projects. We are an authorized training partner with the Project Management Institute and accredited by the Engineering Institute of Canada. And as you know, PMI is recognized worldwide. So this is a great certification to have. In fact, we are the only authorized commissioning training partner with the Project Management Institute. So you can have confidence knowing that you're in the right place to learn and understand commissioning project management from the best source for commissioning knowledge and expertise that you need to implement commissioning best practices on projects. The PMI and EIC credentials are proudly displayed on your certificate when you pass the final exam in the course. You're able to show others that you're learning from a qualified learning provider that's helped several hundred others apply commissioning best practices to their projects. You also receive accredited CEU and PDH professional development credits, which are displayed on your certificate and can be used to fulfill your professional development requirements. These prestigious credentials show others that you're ready to get results with commissioning project management, and we are the only provider where you can get these certifications for commissioning. We also offer programs to onboard new people to your commissioning team because, as we discussed, our wise commissioning experts are retiring, and we need a new way to replace them with younger generations to grow into these more senior roles on projects. We help project teams integrate new people to your commissioning team with our onboarding programs to help them understand commissioning much quicker so they can start contributing to your projects much faster. This helps project teams maintain and grow their commissioning resources so they're set up for success now and in the future as the volume of work on projects continues to increase. The project teams that are having success are the ones that are implementing onboarding programs like this to generate a pipeline of commissioning skill sets required on projects to create the skill sets that they need to complete their projects. Commissioning expertise is getting harder and harder to find, and the project teams that are proactively grooming the younger generation to carry the commissioning torch are the ones that are setting themselves up for success now and into the future. We also offer guided support to get the systems and processes you need for commissioning. We help you select the right software for your projects. We help you get your systems set up fast to standardize your commissioning with the checklist templates and workflows that you need, with a custom solution that's specific to your project and how you do commissioning on your projects. And we provide custom training packages to teach your team how to use these new systems so they can stop using spreadsheets and start using these new systems as seamlessly as possible. If you're setting up a new project or department and want to get started in the right direction, then this is a perfect option for you so that you don't have to take time away from your busy schedule and you can make the transition to digital systems as seamless as possible. This is perfect for companies that want guided support to implement commissioning best practices on their projects with top-rated commissioning software and industry-best commissioning workflows. And our guided support makes it super easy to upgrade from old spreadsheet processes to more sophisticated software systems. So no matter what stage you're at on your commissioning journey, we've got support to give you the solutions you need for world-class commissioning. So here's how this works. To apply to join our Commissioning Academy training program, you can go to our website at commissioningandstartup.com. In the menu under Contact, that first red arrow there, in the middle, you can click Apply to Join Training, and we've got pricing options starting as low as $367. So once you submit your application, you'll get all the information, all the details, and all the pricing options to see which one works best for you. This is a great option for project managers and commissioning managers that are creating and implementing commissioning processes for their teams to follow, and a great option for engineers and techs and really anyone working on projects to understand the stages of commissioning and what takes place during each stage. So submit your application at commissioningandstartup.com to see if you qualify to join our program. If you do, you'll get all the details so you can make an informed decision. And I've also got a special offer for you only because you joined this webinar live today. You won't find this on our website. This is only available right here. And what you can do is you can try before you buy for only $1. You can join our Commissioning Academy training program and you only have to pay $1 today. That way you can see the course, the inside of the course, all the content, and evaluate it before you buy it. If the course is what you expect and you'd like to get your certificate in commissioning project management, keep the course and we'll charge you for the rest of the course 48 hours later. If you decide not to keep the course, that's okay too. Just email us within 48 hours and we'll refund you your $1 and cancel your course registration. So there's really no risk to you to check this out. Now, you won't find this on our website. This is only for you since you joined this live webinar so that you can try it before you buy it, and only available until the end of the day today. So watch your email after this presentation. I'll send you the link so that you can check this out and you can enroll for only $1 and decide in the next 48 hours if you'd like to keep the course. This makes it super simple to decide if this is right for you. You can make an informed decision on the inside of the course once you've seen everything that's in there and decide if this is right for you. And even when you do pay the rest of the course 48 hours later, we still offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So anytime in the next 30 days, for any reason whatsoever, you can get a full refund for everything that you've paid for the course. So there really is no risk for you to check this out and get your certificate in commissioning project management. We've taken all the risk away so you can get the knowledge and expertise that you need for commissioning and get your certificate in commissioning project management. So watch your email after this presentation and I'll send you these links that are only available for today so you can check out the course for $1. You can also book a free consultation to review your current situation on projects and get help from me and my team to get the systems and processes that you need for projects, the top-rated commissioning software, and the industry best practices for commissioning. We do take on consulting clients to help them get set up for commissioning and give their projects the best chance of success. So on the same page at our website at commissioningandstartup.com, in the same menu under Contact, if you go down one step further at the bottom, you can click Free Consultation. There's a few questions to answer about your projects, then select a time to meet, and I'll send you a Microsoft Teams link that we can meet at the date and time that you've booked. During the call, we'll review your projects and how to get you the systems and processes that you need for commissioning. If you've got any gaps with your commissioning processes, we'll show you what's required to fix them. And if you need a program to onboard commissioning resources, we'll show you the next steps to take. If it seems like we can help you and your projects get some of this set up, then we can show you what that looks like as well. And you can decide to become part of it or not. My team and I are focused on removing the barriers to successful commissioning by helping people understand what to do and how to do it well. And there's a reason we take on clients to help them with commissioning project management, because it's a complex topic and you need to learn, get some help on putting some of these things together. But sometimes there's something earlier in your projects that's really hurting your commissioning processes. And we've seen what works and we've seen what doesn't. And we can easily point out any mistakes that are often pretty easy to fix that you may not even realize on your projects, so that you can finally understand what to do and how to do it, but also do it well and give your projects the best chance of success during commissioning. So go to commissioningandstartup.com and book a time for your free consultation right now. Our support is perfect for project managers and commissioning managers that are creating and implementing commissioning processes for their teams to follow to make sure they're implementing commissioning best practices, and perfect for engineers, techs, and really anyone working on projects that needs to understand the commissioning processes to follow, the stages of commissioning and what takes place during each stage of commissioning, and how to apply their technical expertise to the commissioning process. Really, for anyone that wants to finally understand commissioning, from the only globally authorized and accredited commissioning training provider that's available. We've got a solution to finally make commissioning easy for you to learn and understand. Our support is also perfect for companies that need to understand and streamline commissioning with new systems and processes and grow and expand their commissioning teams to take on more project work. Our services make it easy to remove any constraints you're having with commissioning with custom solutions to meet your exact project needs. So if you're serious about commissioning and you want to follow industry best practices, then we've got a solution to address your needs and finally get your commissioning methods to the highest standards to save time and money on projects by completing commissioning as efficiently as possible. Now, you may not be the final decision maker on projects and you need to speak with others. That's okay. That's very common when working on a large team. You can book a call and we can meet before you discuss with others if you like. That way you have all the information that you need when you discuss with others, or you can book a call and you can invite others to the call as well. And we can all discuss together to address and answer everyone's questions at once, whichever you prefer. So either way, if you're interested in our accredited Commissioning Academy training program, or if you're interested in guided support for commissioning best practices, go to commissioningandstartup.com right away and submit your application to join our Commissioning Academy program, or book your free consultation to implement industry best practices for commissioning on your projects. And also watch your email. In the next few minutes right after this presentation, I'll also send you the link to try before you buy, so you can enroll today for only $1 and decide if this is right for you. What I can tell you is you can literally change the entire trajectory of your projects when you have a consistent method to complete commissioning and the skilled resources to get the work done. Because when everyone has a clear understanding of what's required for commissioning, everyone can work together, solve problems together, and all contribute to the success of commissioning together. So if you want to set your capital project up for commissioning success, get started at commissioningandstartup.com right away to get the right solution that meets you and your project needs. All right. So that's everything for the presentation that I had today. I do have some additional time if there's any questions that anyone would like to ask. So shoot them into the chat window and I'll get your questions answered. While you do that, there are typically some common questions that I do get at this point in the presentation. So I'll just go through those and then I'll watch for any other questions that you add into the chat. So people often ask me, well, why do I need commissioning software? Our spreadsheets have been working just fine for us for years. Well, like we discussed earlier, without a system or without standardized processes, then you're relying 100% on people to get the job done. And that's only going to get you so far because, like we discussed, the good commissioning people, they're just not available. And when your good people retire or they move on to other projects, then you've got nothing except for some outdated spreadsheets. And if you want to transfer this commissioning knowledge to our younger generations, then don't write a document because nobody's going to read that. And even if they do, they're not going to understand it. Build your processes right into the software tools that people use on a daily basis. If you want to grow and expand and take on more projects, then you can't rely entirely on your people. You need systems and processes to back them up, to be able to bring new people to your projects as well. It's the only way to survive on projects with the challenges that we're faced on a daily basis. So another question I often get is, well, why do I need different processes to manage commissioning? We've been managing commissioning just fine for years. Well, you don't actually need new processes. We want you to continue with your way of commissioning that's been working for you for a long time. But when your commissioning processes reside within one or two of your commissioning experts or in a document that nobody reads, then others can't easily understand what's required for commissioning. And I believe when more people can see what's required for commissioning without needing to be an expert at commissioning, then everyone on projects is able to contribute to the success of commissioning rather than leaving this all to the end for the commissioning guys to sort out at the end. It's just that you need to build your commissioning processes into a tool for everyone to see in a way that's easy for them to understand, regardless of their understanding of commissioning. Because when only a few of your commissioning experts know what's required for commissioning, it's very difficult for others to learn and collaborate and to work together to solve problems and help projects succeed during commissioning. Wolfram is asking, with all your exposure to customers needing commissioning resources, do you broker business relationships with the industry? Yes, absolutely, we do. Yeah, there's often people on both sides that are coming to us that are asking, do we know any good commissioning people or people that we can recommend for roles? Then we also, on the other side, have lots of people that are coming to see, is there any jobs available? And that they can move on to their next project. So we connect both of those. We actually have our commissioning jobs network set up where people that are coming looking for jobs and people that are recruiters or projects that are looking for good people, we make those connections to help people get in the right roles so that we can help these projects succeed. So definitely a good question. People ask me sometimes, do these commissioning systems and processes apply to all industries? And the answer is yes. This applies to all industrial plant processes and energy systems. The same risk-based approach to completing projects needs to be applied on all projects with E&M equipment that all needs to function as one plant process. It doesn't matter what's in the pipes, whether it's oil or wastewater or chocolate sauce, the same approach to commissioning is required to make all of your E&M equipment work together in the end. And if project teams aren't following these industry best processes for commissioning, then that's probably the reason they're having problems with commissioning. Remember, there is a distinction between technical commissioning and commissioning project management. And your technical commissioning will always be different on all projects, right? In all industries. If the breakers to close and the valves to open, these will always be specific to each project, even two projects within the same industry. But the same project management risk-based approach to commissioning is required for all industrial projects for commissioning to be successful. So yes, the standardized processes that we help project teams implement, this applies to all industrial plant systems. Do your services extend into software projects, WMS, ERP, for example? I wouldn't say necessarily for capital project or for software projects. No, we focus on capital projects. So project management of industrial facilities, like oil and gas facilities, power projects, renewable energy, wastewater treatment plant. That's the type of projects that we're helping connect people with the systems and processes and people to complete capital projects. So I hope that answers your question. Another common question I get is, well, can I do this later? This all sounds good, but I'm busy. There's no time, or it's too early for commissioning in my projects. And I totally get it. Project life is busy. Your days on site are fast paced, but that's why we're here to help you, because we know you're busy and we want to make this easier for you to get the people and get the support that you need for commissioning so that people can get their projects set up for commissioning success before the damage is done on projects. So if your project has already started, then it's already time to get these systems and processes set up and start onboarding new people to your project team. So don't miss your chance. Get ready for commissioning before it's too late and there's nothing that you can do to fix it later in your project. You need to get some urgent items in place now if you want commissioning to go well later. So when you book your free consultation call, we'll review your project to see if there's anything that you're missing that could be very costly to fix later. Andy, are you interested in collaboration? We provide a CMS and working on nuclear. Yep, definitely reach out. We're collaborating with lots of people that are out there in the industry, with other software providers, other projects. So definitely reach out. Joseph is asking, what is the duration of the course? So there's two course versions. There's the project manager and commissioning manager course version, and there's the engineer technician course version. If you're interested in the project manager, commissioning manager training, it's approximately about 40 hours. We find that it's all flexible. You can take it anytime. So people work on it part-time, maybe 3, 4, or 5 hours a week, typically completed in about 4 or 5 weeks. The engineer training is a bit shorter. It's a smaller subset of the training specific to following the commissioning process rather than actually implementing the process. It's a bit shorter, maybe 30 hours, and you can complete it a bit quicker part-time as you're available. The last question I get is this recognized worldwide? And the answer is yes. As a PMI authorized training partner, we're able to offer this training to everyone in all locations all over the world. You know that the Project Management Institute is the globally recognized authority for project management, and we are the only authorized commissioning training provider that provides training on commissioning project management. In fact, the training that we offer is the missing piece of project management to actually complete capital projects successfully during commissioning. So if you were to get PMP certified, you would still be missing the systems and processes to complete projects during commissioning that we teach in our programs. So if you want to be trained and certified on commissioning project management, then you're in the right place. Submit your application now so that you can achieve this prestigious certification. Joseph, engineers training to be specific. Yep. So we do have a good option for you there as well. So if you submit your application, or if you want to check it out for $1, watch the links in your email and you can get hooked up with that right away. So last chance to ask any questions. Lots of good questions so far, and I'm not seeing any more questions. So hopefully I've got everyone's questions answered for today. We can end it here for now. So go to commissioningandstartup.com and get started right away to get the industry best practices for commissioning. Watch your email. I'll send you the links that we've discussed today, including I'll send you a link to this replay so you can watch it again if you want, or you can feel free to share it with others that need to understand commissioning on their projects. I'll send you a link to the software list and the commissioning process flowchart that we talked about so that you can review both of those a bit more closely. I'll send you the links to apply for our training and to book a call. And I'll also send you the links so that you can enroll for $1 today and you can check it out and try it before you buy it, which is a great option if you want to check that out. So all of this to say so that you can get the industry best practices that you need for capital project commissioning and set your projects up for the best chance of success. So I want to thank everyone for joining. Lots of great questions, lots of great engagement. I'm happy to see everybody that is interested in commissioning and helping their projects succeed with this complex stage at the end of projects. So I'm looking forward to seeing with you and discussing with you more about commissioning, and good luck on your projects, and please stay safe. Have a great day, everyone.